Overwatering, underwatering, watering at the wrong time. This is what a lot of gardeners get wrong. But don't worry, that's exactly what I'm going over today in this video. Today, we're tackling how to water your garden properly. This is episode 3 of our daily gardening series, and I'm Timothy Hammond, the Big City Gardener. Let's get it. Since this series is all about building an efficient gardening routine, that means we don't have all day to spend watering. So let's talk about the best way to water. And that starts with this one key thing: water at the base of your plant. You ever see people just spraying their entire garden whenever they're watering? That's a rookie mistake. The key to effective watering is to make sure that we're delivering the water directly at the base of the plants. Why? Wet leaves increase the opportunity for fungal diseases like powdery mildew to take hold in your garden. The second reason you should water directly at the base is because that's where the roots are. While plants are able to absorb moisture through their leaves, watering directly at the base encourages our plant to grow deeper roots. And deeper roots are usually healthier roots, and healthier roots usually lead to healthier plants, and that leads to bigger harvest and yields. And the third reason you should water directly at the base is because you will use less water. When we water from above, like that, we lose a majority of the water to evaporation. By applying the water directly to the soil at the base of the plant, the water is able to saturate the entire garden bed, and that way your roots will be able to find water in any direction that they are growing. Now, some plants don't mind getting their leaves wet. Plants like your leafy greens and your brassicas, they enjoy a light mist. But plants like your tomatoes, your cucumbers, your melons, your squash, you want to make sure that you're keeping the water off the leaves if possible. And really, there's only one way to keep water off the leaves of the plant, and that's through drip irrigation. Now, if you want to save time and water your garden the most efficient way possible, then there's only one way to achieve that, and that's through drip irrigation. Drip irrigation saves water. It uses up to 50% less water than overhead irrigation methods. Second, drip irrigation delivers the water exactly where it's needed, and that's directly to the root zone. And third, with drip irrigation, you're able to set it and forget it. By automating the watering in your garden, you can reduce the amount of time that you have to spend doing these remedial tasks and spend more time making sure that your garden is producing as efficiently as possible. If you don't have drip irrigation and you're watering by hand, then make sure you're delivering the water directly to the base of the plant. Just make sure that you're watering slowly. So rather than dumping the entire contents of the watering can on one plant, try working your way around multiple containers. That way, the water has an opportunity to seep down and work its way into the first 6 inches of the soil. Now the next question is, well, how often should I be watering? And that really depends on your growing conditions. Are you growing in a container? Are you growing in an in-ground bed? Or are you growing in a raised bed? Don't think that you have to water all of your garden beds every single day. That's not the truth. Another determining factor in how often you water your garden is what season is it. Fall and winter gardens are going to require less water than our spring and summer gardens. And that's simply because with cooler temperatures, there is less evaporation of the water from the soil. Now, when it comes to our in-ground beds, we're going to want to water at least 2 times a week. And we're going to want to make sure that we're watering slowly and deeply. So a quick pass, just waving the water on top of the soil, it's really not going to do much in our spring and summer times. We want to make sure that we're standing in one spot and saturating the soil completely. If we're growing in containers, we're more than likely going to have to water at least every 1 to 2 days. And that's simply because containers always dry out faster than our raised beds and our in-ground garden beds. Also, the size of the container will dictate how often you need to water your plants. A plant in a 5-gallon container is going to need to be watered more often than the same plant in a 15-gallon container. The frequency that we're watering our raised beds depends on the size of the raised bed. How tall is the raised bed? We'll have to water our taller raised beds less often than we have to water our shorter raised beds. So if you're wondering how you can water your entire garden if you're only spending 15 minutes out there a day, well, you need to be watering in sections. And since all plants absorb moisture at different rates, it's best to check the soil before watering. And to do that, I have a simple test, the knuckle test. I want to stick my finger in the soil down past the first knuckle. When I pull my finger out, if my finger is moist past the first knuckle, then that means I don't need to water. But if it is dry past this first knuckle, then that means I need to water this bed. Now I know you're probably asking, how can I water my entire garden in one day if I'm only spending about 15 minutes outside? Well, you can get drip irrigation. But if you don't have drip irrigation, then we're going to want to break up the watering process throughout the week. Water a different area of your garden every single day. And don't forget, it is easier to weed your garden when the soil is moist. So while you're watering with one hand, you should be using your free hand to pull all the weeds that you can. That's how we garden more efficiently and how we're able to get more done in our allotted 15-minute time frame. If I didn't have a drip irrigation system, then I would separate my watering like this. Day 1, I would water my containers. Day 2, I would water my raised garden beds. Day 3, I would water my in-ground garden beds. And then I would just repeat that cycle throughout the week. So to sum it up, here's the keys. 1, water at the base of the plant and keep the water off the leaves. 2, use drip irrigation whenever possible. 3, rotate your watering schedule so that the watering task does not become overwhelming. If you got any watering tricks of your own, make sure to drop them in the comments. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, please. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow where we talk about the right way to fertilize your plants.